Hello everyone. Welcome to a bit of an unusual Eventide stream, patron only stream. Honestly, folks, tonight I'm just hoping to get a little work done. That's all I've been doing for the past several days, between needing to prepare for this Thursday's kind of Halloween game, and trying to get some work done on Hopefinder. I've been swamped. It's been kind of nonstop here. Frankly, I've been putting in very long hours. Just trying to get it all ready. I feel like Hopefinder, as a thing, kind of feels like a pumpkin in October, right? It's great until the end of the month. And then I'm releasing it in the holiday season, and it's going to sit out like an old pumpkin. So I'm burning hard to try and get it done. As a result, it's crowding out kind of everything else I've been doing. But that means, I've got to make sure I carve out the right amount of time to get work done on Eventide, because the game is still ongoing, right? I have 2 sessions coming up here in the next week. So, hey there, everybody. Hey, Lone Jedi. Hey, Alara. Hey, Andrew. Welcome, everybody. Today is going to be a bit more of a working stream. I'm actually probably going to still keep working on Hopefinder stuff here. But frankly, I didn't want to go another week without having a stream. Everything's kind of just chaotic here tonight. Yeah. Going at a mile a minute here, so you are seeing me in the frantic end stage of a big push. I want to show some of it to you, just so that you can see what's going on, because it went from being a Word document a few days ago to now being a laid out thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up here. So let me go ahead and grab this source, just so you can see what I'm playing around with here. Let's do a window capture. Here it is. Okay. So this is just kind of some of the basics here. Nice and big. And this intro bit is one of the few pieces of the Survivor's Guide that I still need to work on. But the rest of it is pretty much done. So I'm just gonna scroll through here. So you've got an introduction, figuring out how this all works. You've got content warning and survivor creation rules. You've got backgrounds, a whole bunch of backgrounds you can pick from. You've got skill section, kind of going over how all the skills work, including introducing a handful of new skills. That's some pretty cool stuff. There's a handful of pages of that. Is a handful of skill feats, not a lot, but just enough to make the game work. A bunch of basic feats. These are things you get to choose at first level. And then we get into gear, and oh god, the gear tables. Let me tell you, formatting hell right here. If you've ever had to format very large, very complicated tables, you have my respect. These things are a bear to format to get them to look even halfway decent. So these are the gear tables for Hopefinder, and so 2 kind of solid pages of guns, gear, ammo, tools, all kinds of stuff. Gear rules. I love that piece of art. That's a great piece. Some descriptions of stuff, and then we get into finishing touches for your character, and that makes you ready to play. So here by page 31, you're ready to play, and then we get into playing the game and how the game works. Kind of going through the various modes of play, talking about turn structure and some new actions and things that everyone can do. We kind of go through attacks and damage and bruises and critical misses and dings. Then we go into talk about living and dying, living with the Z-Plague, thirst and hunger, unconsciousness, healing, and death. Then we talk about hope, the kind of key mechanic of this game. And before we get into the advancement rules, because this is a classless game, so it has its own complex advancement rules. God, I love that piece of art. So this is all stock art. I'm not gonna lie. It's stock art, but it's pitch perfect for this game. So I was so happy when I found this. and I am super excited to be including it here. So it adds so much to this. It cost me a not too much, but enough, but it worth every penny. Worth every penny. So we've got the survivor advancement rules, and then rules for flashbacks and how the flashbacks work. And then we get into your roles and what role you were before the fall of society. And that tells you what advanced feat selection trees you get access to. And there's 9 of these that you get access to, various sorts. And then we get to the rules for leveling up, which is something you do in addition to advancing. So that's it. That's all 64 pages of the Survivor's Guide. So, yeah, that's a lot. So I've been busy. Now, those pages, the text might have looked really big on those pages because those pages are 5.5 by 8.5. So at 64 pages, the whole thing is designed to be something you can print on 8.5 by 11s, stack them, fold them, and make a booklet. That's the entire goal of this. And then the cover is separate. So you can see why I've been really busy. This idea really took off. I started playing around with it, a few months ago, and just tinkering and laying out some things. And then I got the idea of, what if I try and release this before Halloween? And I really wanted it to come out yesterday. But I'm just not there yet. And I still have the Jam's Guide to lay out, which should only take me about 4 to 6 hours to lay it out and get all the art placed. Because I still have more art. And but I have a little bit of writing to do in that. I still have to write the Seattle Gazetteer and the sample adventure, which won't be too hard. And then I also have the intro to do in the player's guide and a character sheet. Now that's what I'm probably going to work on here tonight. So what I'm going to do here for the next 50 minutes or so is hang out with all of you. If any of you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But honestly, what I'm probably going to do is just monkey around with some character sheet ideas, because I have some ideas, but I need to be able to kind of coordinate them. You're going to get to see me work. That's it. And I'm happy to chat with you while that's happening. It's a little bit of a different kind of stream. And if it's not your jam, no harm, no foul. But that's kind of what I'm going to do here tonight, because I'm busy. And after this, I'm going to keep working, which is why I'm not doing my Twitch stream tonight, because I really want to get this done as quickly as possible. And I've got a Eventide game here in 48 hours. So busy is what I'm all about. How are all of you? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some things set up here. Let's see. Start, I think. Didn't get up open. I think what I want to do is cartoon the character sheet before I even try and bring it over and design to lay out. Because if I don't cartoon it beforehand, it's a fool. So we're gonna go ahead. The character sheet will be a full-size piece of paper, though. It'll be 8.5 by 11, and we'll drop it down to 150. We don't need a jar. Nope. Good. Okay. So now that I got that, let me go in here. Yes. Huh. There we go. All right. Oh, it's treating the individual illustration as a source, isn't it? No, you just don't want to grab it. Well, that's... Nope. I'll show you what cartooning is, assuming I can get this thing to work. Let's see. Windows capture, video capture. You just do it by grabbing it. There we go. We'll just do it this way. All right. Okay. So this is my display. This is... So let me go and... By cartooning, what I mean is I'm going to basically draw roughly what I want to see happen. I'm kind of doing a rough. And I don't know where I picked up the word cartoon, the way to describe this process, but I did. So here's the Pathfinder character sheet, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lock this down. Actually, before I lock it down, I'm going to go ahead and turn its opacity. Let's put it there. Put it at 75%. And lock this in place. I'm going to put a layer... Nope. A layer underneath it. I'm just going to paint bucket this one white so that I'm seeing the checkerboard. And then... And then I'm going to do a layer on top of this. So, with this layer, I can now draw. Pixels here. So I can do that, right? I can decide how I want things to work. So, what I'm going to do here is basically just try and figure out where all of the boxes and things need to sit based on what is on the current Pathfinder character sheet. And then I can move some of these things around. So I think the way I'll do this is actually with rectangle. Just because it will make my life easier. I don't want any fill. So that off. Let's try 4. Oop. Okay, so 4 is definitely not. Let's go. Make it 10. Okay, 10 looks great. Okay, so just making boxes at this point. To make my life simple, I'll just join these things together. So I know that Hopefinder has ability scores, but I don't use the score. I only use the modifier. So I probably only need like that much room for ability. So we'll go ahead and make that part of the layer. So, okay, we've got that. Now, I know we're also going to have our class. A surprise. So let me go ahead and grab a bit for our class. But shields are not nearly as big of a thing. And I also don't think I need a giant box for all of the map. So I think I can maybe get away with armor class because it also needs to include resistance. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's going to be about back to okay. On. Okay. So assuming that that also is going to need to exist, let's go ahead and here. Actually, you know what? For now, we're going to leave it over the armor class box because that way I don't have to remember what it is. Okay. Saving throws. All 3 saving throws exist. But again, simpler kind of stuff. So I don't think I need a giant box for these either. I think I can kind of make those fit in the box as well. In fact, let me go ahead and duplicate the box from below. And now I've got two. Okay. So that's a key. Skill-wise, I do lose some skills. Let me go and take a peek at the Pathfinder, sorry, the Hopefinder skill list. So I keep acrobatics. I drop arcana, so I'm down 1. Add computer, so I'm back even. Keep athletics. Keep crafting. Keep deception and diplomacy. Add drive, so I'm up 1. Down intimidation, or sorry, up, no, I keep intimidation and lore. So we're still up 1. We add machinery, we're now up 2. Keep medicine, we lose nature and occultism, so we're back to even. Add, or keep performance, drop religion, so we're down 1. And then society, stealth, survival, and thievery all stay. So in total, all we do is lose 1 skill. So that's it. We're losing 1 skill. Yeah, we're losing, yeah, occultism skill if you listen to Coast to Coast every night. Yeah, no, that's fair. So I think we're losing 1 skill. So if I'm going to cartoon this out, I don't need as big a box for the skills, but let's play around with it here. I also don't think the skills are about doing a giant math puzzle here. I think it is much smaller, and so let's go ahead and assume it's about that. So that'll be about right. So okay, I've got that. Perception and hit points are obviously still a thing, but not nearly as complicated. So let's do this for hit points. And perception can probably be simpler as well. Okay. So we've got that. What other components? I'm going to basically assume that these top components will be staying in one way, shape, or form or another. So go ahead and lock those in. And then lastly, we've got all these strikes and weapon stuff. I actually am thinking that the Hopefinder character sheet is going to put all of that on a master equipment page. That way, this front page is just about your character stuff. So I think I'm going to need a speed box for sure. And then honestly, the rest of this space is mine to do other stuff with. So let's start playing around with some components. So let's say I take the speed box, we go and we move it up over here. And again, I'm just cartooning here, so it doesn't matter if this stuff overlaps or is even accurate, really, because I'm going to need to take this rough and take it over to Illustrator. But in Illustrator, it's a lot harder to do some things. Some things are just easier in Illustrator or Photoshop than it is to do some of these things in InDesign. InDesign, by the way, being the program we use to lay out books. So that's its primary difference is that InDesign is really for book layout. Drag this vertically here. I think I'm starting to get an idea of how this is all play out. that move. Let me get this skill box out of the way, because I've put all this stuff on one line. So I have to be careful. Move it over. It'll delete stuff. All of this. And bring it over to here. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So that's coming together nicely. There are some things that are unique to Hopefinder that I'm going to want to take careful care of. I'm not sure how I'm going to resolve that part, but I think I can probably have skills come later. They can have the space that they need. I can do something like that. And it's starting to warp the lines, but who cares? And then over here, I've got plenty of space now to do character choices. Yeah, I'm starting to see how this... So, let me go ahead. And I want to keep hit points next to armor class, because I think these things are critical. Go ahead and grab this. So if that's the hit point box, and then we can take this up over here and have perception up in the upper right. What I'm getting at is now I've got a big old box that I can add to this sheet for do that. So this can be having a really weird problem right now where the oh, why isn't my pencil drawing? Because I have an outline. Okay, so this can now be beats. So that'll work out well. So then this is skills. This is saves. This is E. This is skill ability scores. This is will do. This is hit points. perception. And I still have a little bit of space left over, which is nice. Yeah, that's probably the way this goes. I could also put like a reminder of how proficiencies work. I can put in, let's see, what else can I? I'm going back to the character creation rules. Let's see, you get ability scores, background, you get to be trained in a bunch of things, you get to be trained in skills, you get your basic survivor feats. So this feats section will start with your background and give you a spot to list all of that. It'll then include a space for your basic feats. And then as you do flashbacks and leveling, all of those spaces will be here. So that ultimately, what you're looking at is every choice you've made with your character. Right? So, yeah. That's interesting. Okay. So, there's that. Let me go ahead. Oh, I see. It's funny how this stuff starts out, because it really does look like nothing to get started. And then, over time, because the one thing you don't want to do when you're building a character sheet, and I've done this a fair number of times, is you don't want to start by doing details. Like, you have to kind of rough everything in first so that you have enough room. If you don't do it that way, you will be very, very sad. So, you know, for this is the most important part, even though it is by far the least kind of polished. So let me go in here. Stretch this. Because this whole box up here can be this. Now, what I will actually end up doing with this is I will take this layer then, turn its opacity down to like here, and then I will start the actual layout of everything except for the text on this page, right? So I will actually do most of the kind of nitty-gritty on here by laying out some guidelines. So I'll start by going, okay, I need a guideline that is at least probably about a ½ inch away from the gutter. So we're going to go ahead and try and get this exactly 8. We're going to go ahead and do this exact same thing on this side at 5. Come on up here. Now, I could do this by just actually working to full margin and then give myself the bleeds and spaces in Illustrator. Totally do that. However, I find that it's oftentimes smarter just to do it in here. That way you can actually get a good... Now, this is going to cost me space, but it's better to do... to give myself a full ½ inch margin on this document, because people may print this out with their home printers, and a lot of home printers can't go to like a ½ of an inch of the edge. So it's going to eat up some of my space, but frankly, I've got space to lose. So the middle of this is going to be 4.25, and I'm going to want a gutter. So let's assume that my margin between these things is going to be about... I could get this by going grid. Let me actually... Preferences... Always for units. There it is, grid. Right on. Oh well, I'll deal with that later. Okay. So assuming I've got 4.25 here, and I want 375. Come here. Ooh. So what I'm trying to do is get these snap twos in here so that I can easily build accurate. The upside to these is that it allows you to snap directly to them, which allows you to make sure that your boxes. But it's ah. Okay. So that's giving me what? Bit of a mess, but I can work. Alright. So, and now I can start working with actual boxes here, other layers. So I'm going to go ahead and take my size down to something like, this is currently set at 150 DPI, and it occurs to me that if I'm actually going to want to do this, what I'm going to want is upsize my canvas. Right now, my canvas is to image size. So, is all right. All right. So there we go. All right, now I'm at 300 DPI, so if I have something that is, 5 pixels wide, it's going to appear as almost in. That is very, very, very narrow at 300 pixels per inch. Let's go ahead and take it up to, see what that looks like. This box at 8. I think I like that. Let's go ahead and keep that for now. Then other box, and I can just use these guides to make this happen kind of quickly here. I want this box to be the same. I'm going to copy it. Kind of exactly what I want to do. And here for speed. Great. And then let's points. Occurs to me. May want to give these things a hair more breathing. That's interesting. So the way the grid is currently set up, let's see, 1/2 inch. I've got it down to about 1/4 inch. So this is 1/4 inch between each one of these boxes. That may be too small. I don't want this game to feel like it has more breathing room. Not impossible to, it does require me to make here. So, let's see. First of all, let me go ahead. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring in one. No, I can leave that. I can actually leave those. What I'm going to do is actually just move this down a block. Oh, now I remember. Nope. Always good to lock the layer you're not working on, by the way. Obvious, but I make that mistake all the time. All right. Place that. So, this is now a 1/4 inch between these. I think that's probably going to work better. Go up here, a hair, and now we can keep boxes. And to be honest, I don't know what's going in this box as of yet. Figure it out. Point in time. And now for skills. I think languages will be in here as well. Maybe languages. Oh, hey, that's a boxes over. Sometimes it just works out exactly how you hoped it would. I don't know how to explain it. Let me compare the. Good. There's a 3/4 inch. 3/8 of an inch difference between the hit point box and these two over here, but that's probably could even them. Distance there is going to make them always different from one another. I thought about using the stamina rule variant, but frankly, the thing that I actually wanted for Hopefinder was a kind of desperate feel that you just don't have enough hit points. Boy, I think I've managed to pull it off. I finished designing the monsters the other day, and let me tell you, people gonna die. Yeah, it's rough. You do not want to fight a soldier turned zombie. They are still in armor, and as a result, they're really hard to kill. Because the armor right is there to protect player characters, to make sure that they have the tools they need to survive. But when the zombies wear them, that is very bad. Yeah, it's not good. They're like 30. I think they only have like 30 hit points, but they take 5 or 6 points less damage every time they get hit from guns and other weapons. So you really got to hit them hard to do a lot of damage, right? You know, and I mean, don't get me wrong, guns you can easily get a gun that does a D10, but you know that means there's gonna be hits where you're just not doing a lot of damage. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. It is what I'm saying. It's gonna be fun. Okay, so here we are. We've no wrong tool. Let me go ahead and do this. So what we've got here, and I'm gonna go ahead and view. Let me go ahead. Stop showing the grid. And I'm gonna turn off. Yes. So now what we've got, we went from rough, right? You know, we went from this kind of blocky mess to now we have the first outlines for all of the boxes, right? And I can do things with these still because they're still smart objects. So like if I want, I can, you know, give them some detailing here. You do things like that. And I think if I pull Shift Alt, I can just do one. So I can make these have a bit more of some artistic flair to them and give some kind of guidance to these. And sometimes you do these sorts of things, and if you do them the right way, it helps kind of break apart the various sections. Right? That helps give a divide to the boxes so that they're not, they don't feel as blocky. So I'm not sure I'm going to do that yet until I have some more things roughed in. But it is a good thing to note that you can kind of go in and mess with these a bit more. So let me go ahead. Where am I at here? This is why this takes so long, because a lot of this stuff is kind of exploration and figuring it out as you go, because there isn't like a perfect guideline for this. Now let me go in here and get back to my box, but instead of having an 8 point, let me drop it down to 5. And what I want to do is make the boxes for your ability score. And I don't know how many of these I'm going to be able to fit in here based on their size, and I need to get all 6 scores in. So I just do the math, but who has the time? Control V, don't appear. So I'm going to come up clearly. Yeah. Sort by a grid cannot solve all problems. Although I allow these things to stack. We were jumped at the hip. I don't like that. All right. Well, I have my solution. Okay. So, all right. So the actual solution is that. So I'll tell you a secret here is that even once I get all this done, it looks so tidy and clean right now, but that's not the way Hopefinder is. So I'm obviously going to go in and blur and smudge and messy this thing up a bit. But for now, it can look nice and tidy. For now. So this allows me to now have, you know, I kind of want this to look like a government form, to be honest. And doing so rather not ironically. Now, this isn't the actual text I'm going to put in here because it'd be too big. What I want to use is Franklin Gothic. Definitely want to get this down to why can't I see it? What is even happening? And the answer is, it's invisible. Okay. So let's see. We can get all the way up 30. Kind of like. That's not bad. To do, you stretch it out to here. Lay it down to here. Then I'm gonna. I see. I see. I'm having fun. Okay. So let's go ahead and put that in the bowl. To get it where we want it, we'll go ahead. All right, so that might be what it looks like, and maybe the answer is to do this in Photoshop. That, if I don't do it in, so if I don't do it in InDesign and make the PDF that way, none of this text will actually be legible to screen readers, which isn't great. I don't love that. But I will say this: doing it here is a lot easier because it's easier to nudge and move things around. Whereas in InDesign, that is a bit more of a tricky widget. Oh, phantom character. Okay, so this, get a sense as to how it look. How closely can I make this look like an old package of generic cheese? I'm not gonna lie, doing this entire character sheet is probably going to take me as long as it took me to lay out the book I showed you before. There's just so many fiddly things that need to be done to make this work. So, okay. There's a component. The easiest one is now done. Kind of. What I'll probably do is take those elements in there and nudge them down so I can put like ability score on the top. I may even do it so that ability score is like in the line at the top. That way it looks like a component of the sheet and not just something that's floating around. Now, just to give you a sense... Oh, just realized what's going on. All of these have a mountain of lorem ipsum in them that you just can't see because of how they are constructed. So if I do this, and then I do this, there's a whole bunch of text in here that is white that needs to go. And that is happening on all of those. So, there's that. But I do want to do something else here real quick because I want to start filling this in and making it look like something that doesn't make me sad. So, let me go and grab... Okay, so we've got some weathered looking paper in the background. What I'll probably do is actually only insert that in InDesign so that it can be the background, which is a thing that then doesn't print. That way it doesn't burn up your ink. But it looks nice. Let me go and turn the group off so that it's blocking. Ooh. And I think I can even turn show. So clearly there's still some work to be done here. These now looking at it are too big. They're crowding the edge, unlike the other side. So these will need to be smaller. Oh, maybe 22. Oh yeah, 22 is probably the right answer. Again, one of these now has a mountain of lorem ipsum hiding in them. That needs to go away. So I'll worry about that a little later. So this background is cool. This is just kind of a standard old-looking paper background. Now, I do think this is perhaps a little... So what I would probably do is just drop the opacity to make it look not as old, to be honest. Every small tick on that opacity there is changing how old the paper looks, just by dint of how much of it you can. So that actually looks better. So anyway, this is layout fun. And I'm going to be doing a lot of this because I have to make this whole character sheet and the back, and I have to do a survey and yada yada. So I have a ton of things still to do, but I, am happy to say, that this, at least, is coming together nicely. I am really happy with how this is all coming together. I think there is some absolutely great stuff in here that folks are really going to dig. There's so much good stuff. I can't wait to get this out to all of you. It's going to be soon. I literally just need to finish a handful of things, and then that is ready to go out to you. Let me make sure I save. Yammer away and close it without thinking. Dangers of being me. So here it is, 8 o'clock. I wanted to just hang out with folks and chat about, stuff. And do some work, because that's literally all I'm doing right now is just work. As far as it goes with Eventide, I still am running part 2 of the adventure. And things are still progressing there nicely. But frankly, it's going a little slower than I would like. And November is NaNoWriMo, which means I'm going to be spending the month putting out a lot of words. And I'm thinking about how I might approach that. There's a couple different ways I could do it. One thing I was thinking about doing is actually taking the month of November and pausing the Patreon payment, because I can pause it for a month, and not do any streams and just focus on writing and creating content, and come out of that with a whole bunch of surprises and fun new stuff for everybody. But then I could focus on that for a month. Might be an interesting way to change of pace for me. And, I'll give you all a break on kicking in to help me with it, because honestly, this past month has been pretty slow. So I'm thinking about that. I may do something like that. I'll call it my writer's sabbatical, where I'm going to go on sabbatical but do the work, whatever that means. So I don't know. I'm thinking about that. Let me know. I'll chat with folks about it in the Discord and see what folks think. But I really am interested in your thoughts. And that's coming up here in a few weeks. Obviously, I'll still do my video game streams, but I may take a pause on doing kind of more Eventide streams and just give me some time to, frankly, just work on some things, because there are a lot of facets of this campaign that still need a lot of work. And honestly, I get kind of lost in doing the adventure grind. And while I'm doing that, I'm not really developing the world the way I want. So it's an ongoing process. Building all this stuff by myself in my spare time is a challenge, but it is coming together. I'm still waiting on some news from my editor about some things. I got to be honest, that is my biggest frustration right now, and I am starting to consider other options. These sorts of things happen, and when you're a very small outfit, you don't have a lot of flexibility in changing. don't really want to go into too many more details other than that, but I'm just kind of stuck in a rut on that front. And yeah, well, actually, Nano last year is how Eventide got brought back. I just sat down and started working on it. So I'm thinking this year might be a good time for me to just kind of take a pause and just focus on writing. Focus on writing and creating. Come out the other side with a whole bunch more stuff for Minotaur Games, the website, wiki, and a whole bunch more content for all of you to enjoy. So that may be the route I take. I'm still mulling it over a little bit. I don't want to necessarily have folks think I'm abandoning things. That's not it. But if I do it this way, it may give me a chance to just kind of focus for a month and really get a lot of work. All right, folks, that's all I have here tonight for this. I'm not streaming on Twitch tonight because, frankly, I want to go grab a quick bite to eat and then get back to that character sheet because it ain't going to lay out itself. As you see, I have a long way to go. It is still in its infancy and going to need a lot of work to get there. So that's all I have for today, folks. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. I know this was kind of a non-traditional stream, but I hope you enjoyed it and learned a bit about how this stuff gets made. So that's all I have here today, folks. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.